Hi and welcome again to Steve's Long Stay Vintage Radio Workshop, where sets come to be looked at for various reasons. And this come out of stock, and I've got two of these actually. This is the worst of the two. And I've got it out because I want to show you about FM, because on medium wave and long wave it's dying on its feet, literally. In some parts of the country you can pick up Radio Caroline, we can't here. And so really there's very little bit to be had. So depending on what atmospherics and stuff, you know, it varies from dead set, but generally there are only two stations around here which serve this area, which is great. Long wave, of course, the radio phone, that's going to go in the new year as well. So I wonder what is behind it actually there, but we'll find out when it goes off the air surely. An FM. 100 to 88, it's one of the early ones. Now then, FM is what I'm talking about here, because FM on this radio, if I remember rightly, doesn't work. Now I do know that some work has been done on this, so for that reason we're going to do that and see what comes up. Because why not? Aha!
Can't believe it! Mark's found out he's won £11.4 million on
to suit every flavour, taste, vibey music. This is your big new Asian sound station of the year.
Support of life. There has to perhaps be put forward argument, perhaps evidence. There has to be being heard in public, because this is life and death, so not reporting restrictions. So how long is all that going to take if we'll get...
Well, why is it making that noise?
Point if I may, I read as well that such is the concern about coercion. That's the main...
That's Radio 5 Live.
Makes some argument against it, isn't it?
That noise is worrying.
In Spanish. Go.
So,
and 50 booking fees.
It was the night before Lidl's big toy event.
It's obviously working on medium along with, but on FM, I know for a fact that this has got one problem. So I'm going to have to turn it to FM using the pliers and see what FM does. And if I remember rightly, not a lot. So we'll see in a second with that. And it tells us that FM is not active. Not even a hiss, nothing. So that looks to me like it's dead. Again, I'll check by. That's the gram. That's FM. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be doing anything that at all. For one reason or another. Let's just give it a bit of an aerial and see if it comes to life, which I doubt that it will, but we can check. Nothing. In with a screwdriver in the back here, there should be something and there's not. So this set has got nothing on FM, which is what we want for this really, so there we go. These sets, by the way, they're quite common, and sets like this are very much of a muchness. Like I said, I remember it had a capacitor which I cut out a circuit on the power supply side. Whether that's causing it, I don't know. But in most situations like this, there's a valve, either a U or an ECC85. Jay's Vintage Workshop is doing some work with finding other valves on there because they're getting a bit scarce near those, and we need something to get them working. ECC88's work, I'm told, well, I've got a few myself that do, and also there's sets like the ECC804, which I'm told work, but it doesn't seem to do anything for the transformer sets with the droppers, so that's something else which we need to think about. We don't have a circuit diagram on this anywhere, and we don't seem to have anywhere on this unit. We don't seem to have a model number either, so I'll have to go and look through the computer to find out what's what. Now, in situations like this, yeah, with that, if we turn it on its front now, we do have access to what's underneath, but that really isn't enough in a case like this, because we want other ways of doing it that don't do that. So on this one, fortunately, the speaker, hang on, I'll turn it round. On some sets, not this one, I'm glad to say, on some sets, I'll just knock that off for a minute. There we are. Come out. There we are. It'll turn now. Right, first of all, I'm going to have to do something with the cable because it's only about a foot long and that's not enough. But in many cases, these are soldered on. In this case, they're not. So it's quite easy to just do that and off it comes. That's handy to know. So we've got to work out. Also, I think these come off as well, don't they? Somehow. So I'll work out that as well. Or of course, a whole lot will come off in some cases. Also, with this one, the knob on the side here for tone. If you turn it round that way like that, knob there for tone as well. So basically now, what we've got to do is take the other two knobs off the front, and that one has been taped together, and this one doesn't want to come either, I don't think. No, we'll come back to that. Also underneath and to the side there's screws as well which have to come out as well. Again, most of these radios, it's a matter of taking the screws out and out they come. It's as simple as that. But it's usually in the manual how to do it, but generally speaking, put it like that. Put it like that. You see there's that lot under there, and it's had some capacity change as well, including one or two of these which don't fail. So that's quite nice to know. So somebody's been in here already and changed one or two things which can be either good or bad. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and most of it should come out. But we've got to take out that knob as well, and one or two other bits and pieces. So let's start by whipping them out, shall we? And find a screwdriver that will work. Not too small. So these 4, and then of course the knobs on the front and a few other things, and it should come off relatively easily, because again it varies from set to set. So now you know how it comes off. I'll just get it off very quickly. Aha, T66A, I think that is. It's T66A, I think that is. So that's what I'll look for on the circuit diagram. So yeah. Okay. Maybe when it came in, it was silent, and with the capacitor, which had gone short circuit on the HT side, which had us cut. I can't even remember where from at this stage actually. So so I'll find it and see. You know, it was a 2 microfarad electrolytic. It's come back to me now. The 2 microfarad electrolytic, which I took out. Also, it's got a few of these disc capacitors in, which generally speaking don't give any problems either. So it's obviously had some sort of capacitor change in the past, but it's not now working on FM, which of course it should. Anyway, with all that in mind, let's get the thing apart, shall we, and have a look. Well, the cabinet appears to be stuck in the case, so I'm going to leave that for now. And what I've did, just to make sure that no accidents happen, is I've taken the valves out, and I found out something interesting. Not one of these is original. The E685 is a Selectron, as is the EL84. The E80 is unmarked. The EABC80 is also Selectron. The EF85, I think it is here. Let's check it. These are on the circuit down here. It is, yeah. That's a Mazda, and this is a Technex EC881. So they've all been changed at some point, which is interesting, because if all the valves have been changed and it's not cured it, and someday either don't know what they're doing or something interesting happening with this. Anyway, the circuit, yeah, this is an AC version, as you see here. All the valves can come out. The rectifier is separate, and these are 80s we see there. Goes down there. That capacitor has been changed actually, I will check it just to make sure. EL84, which is Electron. EABC80. EABC80 is an interesting valve. It covers the first AF amp, and it covers 1 diode and 2 diodes. 1 diode is used for the AM and 2 diodes for the FM. If you look at an EZ80, the EABC80, that's this thing. Inside there are three panels, as it were. You see them? 3, yeah. Occasionally, they all have the heater inside them, but occasionally one of them fails. When that happens, the set will work, but only on 1 or 2 wave bands or not, so it varies that. So that's there, and that does a number of things, as you can see there. EF85, that's an IF amp. Now, the IFs on this, the AM is 470 kilohertz, which is about right, and the FM on this, and of course on 99.9% of radio of this kind, is 10.7 megahertz. There are 1 or 2 exceptions, Bush, I'm looking at you here, so check for them, but mostly it's 107. Now, also with these, there are the IS are what's called stacked. Now, the fact that I'm getting something perfectly good on AM suggests that one half of the stacks are okay, otherwise it wouldn't receive anything, but the other half, it varies, and that one or that one, depending on, yeah. Now in that situation, you might lose one or the other, which does happen. It's happened to me on occasion. You've got to find another IFT of the same kind. Okay. Now if we go onto the other half of it like that, that's the ECH81 there, and here of course tunable on AM and FM, as you can see there. The FM and AM on the other side, one of them is part of the detector and it's different to tune. We'll come to that if we get a chance with this radio a little bit later on. Okay. And the ECC83, 85 whatever, is these three here. That one is an amplifier, that one is an oscillator, which takes the signal from say 100 megahertz, 101 or whatever, down to 10.7. That's basically how it works. It's all done by the wave change control here, which always with us a good spray as well. So that basically is how they work. Yeah. Also on the ECH81 on AM, the child side of it is energized as well, and it works like a normal AM only radio. On the FM side, this part here is switched off, and it operates as an amplifier circuit, a pentode, I think it is, or heptode, or something like that for this here, which puts out 10.7. Power, of course, is applied to here through the wave chain switch again. Always check there as well. And so basically, there's a lot more can go wrong than just a faulty ECC or UCC85. A lot of people, they just change that valve if it doesn't work. Well, what then? Well, hopefully in this I'll be able to show you a few of those things. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to this, you see, it's solid. It's absolutely solid stuck in. I can't lift it or anything here. I've tried and tried and tried. So I'm going to put something in to loosen it, and overnight we'll see if it comes loose. Well, it's out. What happened actually was that here, these here and here go onto some holders in the cabinet down here, and this will hold it in place, but not keep it there forever, like, you know. But the whole lot had simply Dutch had simply forced the thing to stay shut. Dutch actually, it's surprising stuff. It can do a lot. And so what I did at the end was I gave it oodles upon oodles of this stuff, and fiddling. Eventually it came out. So now it's out. We obviously need to give it a clean at the front. That's one thing. That's the tuning there, which still works. You can see there. Okay. Now then, I think the first thing we need to do with this is put a decent length of cable on it, because that is not really suitable. And at that point, I shall put in the valves in turn, and we'll see what happens. Also, before I do that, I also need to check by stage which capacitors need to be changed again as well, because they're all been done, but maybe, you know, just maybe. Also, why isn't FM working? Yes, exactly, why isn't FM working? This box here for FM, by the way, and it's powered from the wave change switch, so it even could be a fault down there. this set comes in various forms actually. There's the transformer version, there's the U version as it were. Also there's a version which is very similar from the outside. HMV's version I had of it, which has a Beretta inside as well. I'd love to see another one of those. They're really good, and Beretta is something we talked about on the channel before. Maybe we should. But anyway, now we just try and get it into a state where I can at least plug the valve back in, and hopefully it'll still work. Well, now I've got a new plug on it of a reasonable length. Plug it in. I've only got one valve in actually of the lot. These are mostly a brand which I've not heard of actually, called Selectron. Now these I'm led to believe, my all seeing and all knowing internet, are one of these groups where these things where people actually rebrand all the valves, so they could be anything. These I've put in these at 80, and if I power it, you see we've got that tells me it's working okay, and that is lighting up okay. Right, okay, next thing of course, now I know that most of the capacitors have been changed, but it's always a good idea to check them anyway. One in particular, which I'm going to look at now. So what you do, get a meter, put it on the 20 volt rail. No, sorry, put it on the 600 volt relay for now. And we go on all the pins of the socket here, like that, and see what we get. Now there should be 2 pins that have HT on them, and that should be it. We know the heaters are okay, but what about everything else? So let's have a look and see, shall we? That's okay, that's okay, right, okay, that's okay. That's okay. There doesn't seem to be much anywhere else, which suggests to me that I'll go into 2 volts actually and check again. Point. That's near damage 0. That's even more near damage 0. That is 0. So as far as I can tell here, everything seems to be okay. So therefore, if we now put in the EL84, which is a selective vision one, like that, put it in the right way around. Sometimes with these, you know, it's a bit difficult to work out which way they go, but you know, it's so much easier with the IO valve, but with these sometimes they can be a little bit of a problem. It all takes one pin out of place, and that's it. You know, they won't go in the socket. There we are. I think that's it. No, it isn't. Okay, fine. There we go. That's it. There we go. Right. Okay. And also, I'll put the speaker on as well, just to just think where there should be something. Okay. Now we know that the output transformer is okay. We know that's okay because we have had some noise out of this, but obviously in in a position like this, we do need to check and make sure that everything is okay. So that comes off like that. By the way, having those on is a warning that there is actually HT around this thing. Now, how much you're going to, if you don't know, switch it off. I do know that there's no HT on speaker leads, so there you are. So now we put that in like that and wait for it to warm up and see what we get. We've got a hum in the speaker. Okay, fine. So what I'll do now is I'll put the other valves in apart from the ECC85, and we'll see what happens there. As I said, with the things like the EABC80, we'll check that all three of the internals are lit with this. So it's sometimes when one goes, it doesn't do what it should, as it were. It's one of those things, you know, one of those things. So I'll put that valve in with the glasses on because I'm old. There we go. There we go. And is that one okay? Actually, that is a different colour of inside to normal, actually, that, but shouldn't be a problem, I hope. Okay, so now let's plug it in. You should see, right, well, two are lit and one looks like it's not. That could be why the VHF is not working. It could be as simple as that. Right. So next one, of course, is is a Mazda EF85, which goes in there like that. In it goes, and again. It's still not lit, that, is it? Not happy with that. I might be wrong, of course, but you know, always keep your eyes open. And with this one in as well, then we should get something on medium wave and long wave. So if we now go okay, right, now at this point there was nothing on the VHF because this valve is out. Now the VHF on these sets is in here, and I'll put this valve in very quickly, and then we'll see if it will do what it's supposed to. So hang on a minute, I'll put it in and see what happens. One that I've put back in is the solar trombone for now. So select trombone for now. So we'll see what happens. So if I now do that like that, and give it an area of some kind, which it doesn't seem to want to provide here actually. Airline screen, okay, so it's that one, okay. So that goes out the way up there, like that. And we go over to like that. And give it some sort of aerial. It doesn't have to be much at this point, but you know, just a bit of something, you know. So, yeah, that did give us something then. So, no, it didn't do that before. It's doing it now. So that valve is okay. Well, now have a working radio on our hands, but do we? Because that is very low down, that. And I put the meter on it as an extra area as well, so you know we've got that lot like that. And so if we do that now, you see, let it warm up, we should get try and find some which won't cause any copyright issues. Right, well that's doing something. Now, when it's low, there could be a number of reasons for that, and there are a few things which you do need to change. So it gets the circuit now, you see here, and there you go, yeah. The discriminator circuit on these is 2 diodes in the EABC80 there, and there should be a diode, a capacitor somewhere which goes to deck as well, and that particular one doesn't seem to be present here. Okay, fair enough, be like that then. So we'll sometimes you have to look through the circuit and look for things, you know. I mean, it could be 2 microfarad, but with normally 4.7 or 5 microfarads on these, so why it isn't here at this point, I don't really know. Could be C47. Is that C47? Anyway, if you go off pin 7 of the EABC80 to deck, there's a electrolytic there, and that is one of the dials that, that it uses. So if you look at the bottom there, you see it's that one. I think it's 8 microfarads. So this thing we do is look at that as well and see if that needs to be changed. If it does, 8, we should have something that will do that, and I'll change that to automatic, which I took out because it was short circuit. Right, I've put the capacitor, I'm not going 8, but I've got a 10 in, and it works
Building up.
rather better than it did before. Now, on the circuit, with any set of this type, there's one capacitor which goes positive to deck, and that is this capacitor here. Always goes positive to deck without fail. So be ready for that, because it's caught me a few times, and it will do you as well. So that's something. Okay, well, the next thing, of course, is to put it the right way up. And I think this might now be ready to put aside, and we'll get to work on the cabinet, which is, shall we say...
You won a national literary competition.
Shall we say, interesting. The reason why this set was the worst of the two was because of the cabinet. If you look on the top of it here, see that? Yeah. This cabinet wants quite a lot doing to it. So, and also, of course, that's the another part of it. And of course, there's the back and the tuning scale as well. So we'll get to it, and we'll get the back in a state where it works, and we can put this back into it. I don't think it needs alignment, but also with these, always remember, always 10.7 in 99.9 cases, 10.7 megahertz on the IF, and anything that looks needs to be changed, you got it. And for that capacitor there, the on the D-mod circuit, that has to be changed again. Many sets it's 5 or 4.7. This is 8. I put a 10 in. It should be all right. Now we start with this cabinet, which at the moment is drying off actually from its first thing. As you can see now, if you look from various angles like that, whatever that is, it's gone. So now when it's dried, polish it and buff it up, and the cabinet will look wonderfully nice again. So that goes away, and I've given this a quick. I might go over that again with some upholstery cleaner. This thing, so it goes behind. Where did I put it? It goes behind the slat, so it doesn't matter all that much. Where did I put that? Oh dear. I'm sure there's a poltergeist in here. Yeah. Yeah, hang on, I'll find it for you. No, it's there, it's there. Right, this is the thing that goes on the front. Marconi, you see. So this too is treated, first of all, in the same way, both sides of it. So the first thing is always to get all the crud and crap off before you start polishing. You want to get the stuff, the muck out rather than polish it in. That's the difference actually, because if you get the sort of things that housewives use, you know, quite often you're actually polishing the muck into the unit rather than out. So always, without fail, do this first. You see, and there you are. Now, one part where you do have to take care with any radio of this kind is the tuning dial, the glass dial. First of all, if you break it, game over. But another thing with these is if you're not careful, don't put them under the tap, don't put it and put them near hot water, and don't, you know, always be gentle with them. I once had a chap rang me up and said, I've got a dial for, I think it was a Cosa Melody Maker. He destroyed the radio, he restored it, but look, it was lovely. But when it came to tuning dial, what he did was he put it under the sink and to the tap on, and before he knew it, all the stations were the front were gone down the plug hole, and all he got was a piece of glass, which, you know, does happen. So be careful of that at all times. That's the one thing. I mean, other things, you know, baker light you can generally do something with. Glue it maybe. I've got a set like that over there actually. But you know, you have to be very careful with these. You have to be very, very careful with these. So that's something which you do need to be aware of. And that is the unit, the case of the unit put back together. The dial's back in place. It's still to the top here, and it's now waits to have the radio put back into it. Now the radio, although it works, I'm going to show you what you think before it goes back together. So that's next on the agenda. Now then, alignment very quickly. This is all you need to know. AM, IF. That's these two here on this radio, okay? Well, all you do on the top and underneath, tweak everything for maximum. If you've got a signal generator, use that. The AMIF, which is 470 kilohertz on this. Or if you're not going to use a tune generator, or you're just feeling lazy, tune it to a station which is fairly not too big, not too powerful, and again, tune for maximum smoke all the way down. That's all you need. The RF side of it, only if it's out of position do you need to change that. But you see that, other things too that you need to think about here is like, is the pointer, right, things like that. There's all things that you need to do there before you start that, okay. Now FM is slightly different. First of all, this box here, you don't need to go into it unless you really have to, okay, so don't, okay. If you don't have to, don't. The first IF, again, tweak for maximum. If you've not got a signal generator, again, I use BBC Radio 3 because Radio 3 is low volume. If you've got a signal generator, turn the audio off if it's an AM one like that one there, and again use that, okay. Now the discrimination on the FM is more than just a diode. On AM diode, so straight down the line with these, maximum smoke, okay. Now on FM discriminator circuit, yeah, there are two diodes, both in the EABC80 here or whatever form it's using, okay. And like I said, there's one capacitor which has negative to circuit and positive to deck. Yeah. Go across that with 2 resistors, about 100k or so. The important thing is that you must be very, very close, both close you can get them. You know, 1% or less, you know. So maybe get to the, about right, okay. Put them across that capacitor, and then from the middle of them you put 1/2 of your meter, an ammeter by the way, on say 200 microamps. On the other end of it you go to the discriminator parts here, and coming out of it on one side of it there's another coil, and from there you go to capacitor to deck, resistor, capacitor to deck, and so forth. That's again, that's fairly simple. Okay, now what you do, the other half of the meter goes there, and you tweak that for 0. It'll go either positive or negative. Set it to 0, and that is near damn it right. Okay, so if you've not got all the fancy kit, then do that and it'll be near enough. Okay, now then, this radio now works. I don't think it needs to be realigned. The case is back together again. It's there, that's the case, back together again. So now we've got the wonderful job of putting it back together again, which could be real fun, because I had a wonderful job taking it apart. Obviously when the thing gets put together we have to hit it again.
Rest from right in front, the leader's in big trouble here of that.
That's okay.
Winning run,
And of course we've got to check VHF as well. Now I found that actually that there is another problem with this. A simple problem to solve, but solve it we will. There you go. That's FM there. I don't know what station it is, but.
Okay, I'm going to. Peter, I think, was writing this on his laptop because it's quite a long message, but he's got a lot to get off his chest.
The other problem with it, apart from the plug, of course, which finally comes out, is this knob, which has rather you come the worse for wear. But before I do that, the next thing I got to look at is the back, because the backs of these radios have an antenna on them. You see it? Yeah. And that antenna has 2 there, which go down to FM aerial and screen, which is there. You see? So now on this one that was missing. Now I've got a couple of pieces of wire here from that used to be made well, but that will do great for this. And so I will then therefore put that on here and plug it into the sockets, and hopefully that will make FM work as well as AM. Now then,
half time. It's 44 minutes on the clock. But for me, it's tactically, it doesn't look like wonders.
Partly finished radio.
For man, it doesn't matter about your system. You've got to be better than the guy that's marking you. And Bolton on the field of play, outfield, they've got 10 out there that are not better than the Mansfield players.
Here come Mansfield again, trying to operate down the right hand side. Ball is given away by George Johnson. Picked up by Mansfield.
Yeah, fine. Now in this case, this knob, if you look closely at it, which I can do like that for you, see, the problem is that part of it is missing, so I can't just tape it together. So first thing I'll do tomorrow is go and look at the my knob box and find one that's like that if I can. If I can't, yeah, I'll have to do something interesting with it. What I've done in the past is take the base off completely, like that, and put another knob on underneath, so it still looks okay, but it's not the same knob, obviously. We'll try that, but for now,
1-0 Mansfield lead. Terrific goal, gotta say.
There we are. So now let's go and attend to that. A radio of any kind needs to have all the knobs, the original ones fitted, or something very similar. This one, there's 3 on the front that look the same. Those 2 are okay, they're on. And this one, well, it isn't. First thing you do is look at the knob in question and take out and sand down the back, so it's basically a knob without without a back, as it were. Okay, now then, what you need to do then is you need to get another knob, which is something else. And there's no reason to keep anything radio related, because you never know. And look at it now. Look at these knobs. First of all, that one, until it's one there, that won't do. It won't do because it won't actually. That will just actually. It will, but it's not got the back to be pulled off. Okay, so that one, no, that one not suitable. Now then, these, on the other hand, these type, you can use, because if you look, you see, they've got the back. So basically, what's going to happen now is that will be taken off there and put onto there, glued onto there, and then that will go on there. It's a bit of a hack, but it does work, and it does work a lot better than one knob missing or one knob not right, something like that. So, you know, also put it on the setting the knob with least resistance as well. It's another trick for you there. Okay, so this knob comes apart and its bottom goes on there. And here it is, a working Marconi radio. They're quite common these, as I've said before, and they work fairly well.
Low down the priority list. When we recorded this discussion, it seemed very unlikely that of influence up here anytime soon. But less than
As well, are there a lot of male missiles?
if he thought it was likely that President Assad's regime would collapse. This was it.
There you go, so that's it on all 3 wavebands, working again, quite happily, quite well. And so it's gone from a piece of junk in one of my storage sheds to a working radio again. And what, as I said, always without fail, keep any radio parts, even knobs, because, you know, it's quite surprising what you use. It really is. Anyway, that's it from me for this episode of Steve's Long Stay Vintage Radio Workshop. And I'll be here again soon with another lovely radio or tape recorder or whatever from the past. Hope you'll join me then. Until then, may your God go with you, whoever he is, and be kind to yourselves and each other. Bye bye.